Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. You guys are tuned into and are watching the latest episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blogs. Thank you guys so much for being here and allowing me to be a part of your life to discuss everything and all things Descendants and Zombies, because we are all fans of Descendants and Zombies. For whatever reasons, we are a fan of the franchise. And yes, this is my Mickey Mouse tea mug this morning because I haven't even finished my first cup of tea before I jumped on this show to record my thoughts on Descendants and Zombies, because that's how much these franchises mean to me, and I hope they mean that much to your heart. So it's really an honor for me to be in your guys' presence to talk everything and all things Descendants and Zombies. Just last night we celebrated the 18th anniversary of the premiere of Wizards of Waverly Place, and it got me thinking about how big of a fan I was of Wizards. But I don't think that Disney has ever promoted a franchise with such a profound impact on all of our hearts and all of our lives that really changed our lives as much as what Descendants and Zombies has. This time every year, Disney kicks the Halloween celebrations into high gear on Main Street. It is full of pumpkins now in Disney World, and everybody is so excited about the Halloween parties happening every night. I got to get on some of this action, because in all honesty, I get really excited this time every year to talk about Descendants and Zombies, especially the Zombies franchise, which I'm seriously thinking about binge watching from beginning to end, because the 4 Zombies movies touched our hearts in so many unbelievable ways, especially Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires. I remember being so excited about this premiere this past summer. I bought a slush puppy and I drank about 5 slush puppies throughout the whole production, and I remember falling in love with it because of the music, because of the script, being introduced to these new characters, Malachi Burton and Freya Skye's characters, Victor and Nova, who are going to be offering a lot to the franchise moving forward. And this is something to be really excited about, because moving forward provides us with an opportunity to open up more doors more widely than ever before, and to be more excited about zombies than we ever have been before. Because the original trilogy was just one story after another between the same 2 characters, and there was never really an evolution process that happened. It was just a story between 2 characters and how they eventually were meant to spend the rest of their lives together. Now this franchise is more unpredictable than ever before, and we have more of a reason to be excited moving forward for the Zombies franchise than we've ever been presented with before. So I think it's an opportunity that we really have to take full advantage of and really enjoy while the moments last, because these moments don't last for forever. And because these moments don't last for forever, I think we really need to enjoy them, and we need to post the best videos we possibly can on YouTube for the fans of Descendants and Zombies, because there are over 600,000 people on YouTube who are YouTubing Descendants and Zombies every single morning, and I just want to do you the honor of creating you great videos. I just want to be here as your commentator, as your journalist, providing you with breakdowns of Descendants and Zombies the way they were meant to be broken down. And that may not necessarily come in the form of a reaction video, because I've grown tired of reaction videos. I think that my pride and my passion exists for talking about these franchises and everything Disney and Nickelodeon, all things Disney and Nickelodeon, through commentating on the franchises and showcasing them for their true worth and their true value. Because when you have people like Freya, Skye, and Kylie Cantrell showing such great dedication to their roles as Descendant stars and Zombie stars, that really says a lot, because we saw passion and dedication from Selena Gomez, and eventually she went on to become one of the biggest producers of all time, credited in the credits for the Wizards Beyond Waverly Place reboot just last year. They're just in their first or second season, and they're doing a great job with that, but I don't think that Selena Gomez would have ever gotten to the point she was with Wizards unless the incredible dedication and work ethic she exemplified in the original series, because there were over 106 episodes produced over the course of 4 seasons, and 1 hit movie, and a 1-hour special that was done, Wizards Return, in 2013 in March of that year. I remember being a part of everything and all things Wizards, and remembering how Disney really capitalized on Selena Gomez's talent, releasing EPs and albums, and then all the merch that came out for Wizards of Waverly Place. I believe there was even a perfume fragrance that was released inspired by Wizards of Waverly Place, and jewelry even. So I think that everything Disney could capitalize on and attach the Wizards and Hannah Montana logo on, they did. From notebooks to pencils, they had it all. And I remember those jackets too they had for Hannah Montana and Wizards years ago. That was over 15 years ago, but the popularity of the jackets, they were in popular demand. And I wish that Disney would release Descendants jackets. Let me just put that out there. With how popular the Hannah Montana jackets were years ago, I really wish Disney would release denim jackets for Descendants of Zombies. I want to put that out there, and I just want to let you guys know that I fully support them releasing denim jackets of Descendants of Zombies. I know it's an opportunity, and I think Disney should really take full advantage of that, because they would sell thousands of these jackets, millions of these jackets. Everybody would want them, and I think it would be an incredible opportunity to introduce fans to this new franchise with a new spin on it. Can you imagine having a denim jacket with that heart logo for Descendants on the back of it? That would be so cool, because I know how crazy everybody is about the dolls, and to be honest with you guys, I wish I had them. Because in all honesty, those dolls look really cool, they look really sweet, and it's an exemplification of the personalities of Bridget and Red and Chloe that I can't seem to get enough of, because they were deadly sweet. These characters were deadly sweet. And I think that they were far beyond sweeter than the original cast, because I think that Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson were pretty much just there because of the opportunities that Descendants of Zombies provided them with. They looked at it as an opportunity, a breakout role, to be reintroduced to a whole new generation of Disney, and Disney was really trying to come into its own. They were trying to introduce us to the franchises that we grew up in, and they were trying to reintroduce us to newer franchises, and trying to reintroduce the newer generation to what Disney was going to represent, because it was no longer about Hannah Montana and Wizards. We had moved on from that. But I think that Descendants of Zombies really is in a category of its own because of how much of an impact it had on all of our hearts. We are the best of friends now because of Descendants of Zombies. Some of the most beautiful friendships of all time have happened, not only for us, but also for the stars of Descendants of Zombies, because I really do believe that Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker's friendship was a friendship that was meant to happen. Forever and always, this was a friendship that was meant to happen because of how incredibly supportive they are of each other. They are there for every single moment of each other's lives, and because they are there for every single moment of each other's lives, there's a considerable amount of value that's put behind that, and a greater appreciation that I think has been shown from fans, and that's why some of these friendships that we're seeing created off of Descendants of Zombies are happening now between just everyday individuals, because the conversation always starts with, are you a fan of Descendants of Zombies? It's never, are you a fan of Toy Story? Are you a fan of Inside Out? Are you a fan of Wicked? It's always about Descendants of Zombies, and that's what I find so cool, because that shows passion. And showcasing passion through your love for the music, the dolls, the merch, the foreseeable future with merchandise, the denim jackets, I'm putting that out there because I'll be the first one to promote the denim jackets. I'll be the first one to post a review about the denim jackets. I mean, if you can have sweaters and hoodies and t-shirts of Descendants of Zombies, you can obviously have a denim jacket. I'm going to put that out there for forever and always. You can have a video game on Descendants of Zombies, which would be a huge opportunity, because I remember years ago being a huge video game fan. And I remember Hannah Montana having all these video games on PlayStation 2 and eventually PlayStation 3. And then Disney just from out of nowhere just stopped making video games on their most popular and beloved franchises. They even had a video game for Phineas and Ferb, Across the Second Dimension. I remember playing that. And they had various other Phineas and Ferb video games for Nintendo DS and Game Gear and Game Boy. So I really believe that there's such an opportunity to create with this. But I just remember being a huge fan of video games years ago, and every popular franchise that Disney could ever capitalize on, from Tarzan to Bonkers to Aladdin, they had a video game for it. Even Hercules in 1997. I remember the date that one was released, July 3rd, 1997. I bought my first PlayStation for $209, and I bought the Hercules video game, and I remember playing it, and I rented it like 100 times before I ever bought it, but I remember playing it and having so much fun on July 3rd, 1997, being a huge fan of that video game. And then from out of nowhere, off the success of Hannah Montana and Wizards, I mean, even the Spice Girls years ago had a video game. And I believe Metallica had a video game. Guitar Hero was inspired by Metallica, a Metallica edition of that game. So all these hit stars had these hit video games, and then from out of nowhere, they just stopped making video games on their most popular TV series and franchises. And I thought to myself, you know, okay, Disney's just focusing on their most popular and most revered characters with Dreamlight Valley and Disney Speedstorm and all these downloadable games, more so than games on franchises. But you think about how popular Descendants of Zombies is. Can you imagine how many millions of copies of video game on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 would sell if you could play out the roles of these characters and just play out and relive the stories of Descendants of Zombies? I think Zombies would be a really huge downloadable game, an app game that would be really cool, or a game on PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store. It would be really cool seeing how many millions of copies would be digitally downloaded or how many physical copies of a game would actually sell, because I've been a huge video gamer for forever, and I know that has a lot to do with how I feel about it, but I just feel like Disney just stopped making video games on their favorite franchises and most popular franchises that became so revered because of these video games and how they capitalize on merch sales. And I think Descendants of Zombies really has a chance to really make the most of this opportunity. And I think that, singing and dancing is one way of looking at it and priding yourself on. But I think the dedication really needs to come full throttle for Descendants of Zombies to really come full circle. And it could happen in the way of a video game or a denim jacket. Because I remember being a fan of Disney, and I remember being a fan of everything Disney had happening for it, 15 years ago. And the merch sales were at an all-time high because of everything having its name attached to it. And I think that in years to come, Disney should focus more on video game development. With so many advancements in technology and graphic enhancement and stuff, I think it would be great seeing a game even released in the App Store that you could pay a price for, not a considerable amount, but enough to generate revenue on it. It would be so much fun seeing an app game or a video game on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. It'd be so cool having the opportunity to play out the story of Bridget or Sophia Carson or Dove Cameron. It would be so cool seeing this opportunity, because there is always an opportunity to create new storylines for Descendants of Zombies. I don't care how people feel about Descendants of Zombies. There is always and forever going to be an opportunity to create new storylines and to create something special for people who have been fans of this franchise for forever, because most of you are probably, 10, 11 years old. So you've been a fan of Descendants of Zombies pretty much your entire life, because it dates back to when Descendants first premiered. Many of you were born around the time Descendants of Zombies first premiered. And it was really an exciting time to be a fan of Disney, for those of you who are too young to remember being a fan of Disney and the premiere of Descendants of Zombies, because I do remember being there for the premiere of Descendants of Zombies and remembering how excited everybody was to be a part of a franchise that would go on to captivate millions of people and steal the hearts of millions of fans. Never before had Disney come into its own at the expense of Descendants of Zombies until now, and stars like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson were really breaking into the industry and really introducing us to what Disney was going to represent itself for the foreseeable future for having been. And I think it was something that really started as a whisper that became a global phenomenon, because nobody in that boardroom ever expected Descendants of Zombies to explode and blow up the way that it did. I think that going into this project, nobody ever thought that this franchise would amount to what it did. It generated millions of hours of stream time on Disney Plus, 781 million hours of stream time. Millions of people bought the unit. I think over 10 or 11 million units were sold of Descendants of Zombies digitally. It was amazing how much of an impact Descendants of Zombies had on each and every one of our hearts. You talk about some of Disney's most revered franchises like Wizards and Hannah Montana, which we're celebrating the anniversaries of this week, and we're celebrating Halloween all throughout Disney World. But the thing is, I don't think that Disney has ever capitalized on Halloween and Christmas as much as what they have through the power of Descendants of Zombies, because that's really putting a franchise out there that the way that these franchises of the past probably should have been put out there more than what they ever were. Without question, Descendants of Zombies would have a history of being one of the most revered franchises of all time, with tens of millions of fans who have shown the appreciation for Descendants of Zombies unlike anything that has ever come before or that will ever happen again. Because the reality that we're faced with is Disney will never see stars like this ever again. I think Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker and Ruby are stars of a generation that we will never return to ever again. So because we will never return to this generation or ever see it again, I think it is something that we have to take full advantage of and really bask in the glory of, because in all honesty, the spotlight has been never more deserving of these stars. Never more of a chance should be given to someone like Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker, Ruby Rose Turner, because they've really taken a franchise that received its fair share of criticism and really turned it around for the better, because everybody had a misperception when it came to Descendants of Zombies, especially the critics. Everybody couldn't say enough bad things about Descendants of Zombies on the reviews on YouTube, and it was really frustrating me being a fan of these franchises just like each and every one of you were, because here's the thing. I know what it's like to be each and every one of you, and I know what it's like to fall in love with a franchise and wish that it could last for forever. And while it's been said that nothing lasts forever in this lifetime, I'm here to give you incentive to believe for the first time ever in your life that something actually has a chance of lasting for forever, be it Descendants of Zombies, because we bring it to life. Us as fans of this franchise, we bring it to life every single time. And that's become the greatest honor of my life, really bringing these franchises to life in ways they were meant to be brought to life. While some franchises like Nightmare Before Christmas have nothing ever done with with it after one movie is dropped in 1993. I think that some franchises have a chance of lasting forever, like Toy Story and Hercules, and I wish Disney would make more of an opportunity to, introduce more characters into this franchise based off of successful franchises like Nightmare Before Christmas and Hercules and The Little Mermaid, because I think that there are characters like Melody and Jack Skellington that have more of a story to introduce to us, and I think that through Descendants and Zombies now providing us with more of an opportunity to get to know these characters more powerfully than ever before, it makes me more excited to be a Disney fan than I've ever been in the last 35 years, because I've been a part of everything Disney, from video game development to TV shows to animation, and it's been so fun being able to create these videos for each and every one of you, because I'm not here because of the YouTube partnership program or monetization opportunities. I've never been here because of that. I've never been monetized. I don't care if I ever get monetized. I just do these videos with a passion, and I wish more people would show up on YouTube without the idea of being monetized or YPP program opportunities in their mind, because that's what they have their hearts set on, is YouTube partnership programs and monetization opportunities. I'm just here for the fun of it. And I'm here to meet each and every one of you because you share in that same passion that I've loved and I've grown up with, Descendants and Zombies. And it's really become the greatest honor of my life, honestly, to be able to sit here and talk about your favorite stars and what I see for the foreseeable future for them, because they have some of the brightest futures of all time. The thumbnail that you clicked on this morning was a thumbnail of the Freya, Skye, and Malachi Barton, and they were at the Wizards of Waverly Place premiere, and I remember how appreciative they were of just being there and being there for that moment, because they were fans of Wizards of Waverly Place. They grew up watching that TV series. I remember on October 12th, 2007, when this series premiered, I was going through a really rough time in my lifetime. My dad had just gotten a new job position in the Yukon, and I was living there for about 15 months of my life, and it was the most depressing time of my life, because you haven't lived until you can't see the sun anymore, and there's an equal balance of daylight and nighttime. So what I used to do with my time is I used to spend a lot of time watching Disney Channel, and Wizards of Waverly Place allowed me to really find myself and present an opportunity for me to talk about more franchises for the foreseeable future, because in the early thousands, just off the turn of the millennium, for those of you who grew up as a millennial, because a lot of you are probably too young to remember what growing up like a millennial was and felt like for Disney fans, but when I was growing up, I grew up as a millennial, so I was there for the turn of the millennium. And at the turn of the millennium, there really wasn't much happening for Disney. They had Darkwing Duck, Kim Possible had just finished its final season, and with how popular those TV series were, it was based off of animation. But the thing was, they didn't really have much to thrive off of. So Wizards and Hannah Montana were the first of a generation that went on to captivate millions of people. And forever and always, people still talk about these series. But I think that when you talk about TV series that are forever and always remembered, I think Descendants and Zombies are really in a category of its own, because it's been 10 years since Descendants and Zombies premiered, and even after 10 years has passed us by, people are still talking about Descendants and Zombies and want to see more and get more out of their experience of being a Descendants and Zombies fan. No matter if that's a Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide tour, or more merchandise being released for it, whatever it is, you want to get more out of your experience, and people still talk about it. And people are still friends because they became friends because of Descendants and Zombies and the opportunities that Descendants and Zombies presented with them. I think that never before has a story been more broad than what Zombies has presented us with, and now with this new franchise and these new characters, there's never been a more unpredictable time or more fun time to be a fan of franchises such as Descendants and Zombies. So I think it's something we have to take full advantage of. We really have to take a chance on Descendants and Zombies, because I really do believe that there is a history with Descendants and Zombies, and we are all a part of it. We are all a part of it just for being a fan of Descendants and Zombies, which is why I say thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking a chance on this YouTube channel that showed up just from out of nowhere last year. And ever since last year, it's become one of the most revered YouTube channels in the world. I get really excited around this time every year. Of course, October is going to be a big month. I have big plans to celebrate the birthdays of both Ruby Rose Turner and Freya Skye this month on October 16th through 17th, back-to-back birthday celebrations. And all day on their birthdays, the respective birthdays of Freya and Ruby, will have videos for each star. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to do that, because I have a full day of videos lined up for Freya and a full day of videos lined up for Ruby. And I'm just really excited about it. Last year I celebrated Ruby Rose Turner's birthday. I had a whole lot of fun doing it, and I invite you to join me for those celebrations coming up just actually in a couple of days. That's really hard to believe. I think it's like 3 days away from Ruby and Freya's birthday. So I'm not going to forget about it, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun creating our own memories and creating our own history for being fans of Descendants of Zombies, because I really do believe that if we're going to talk about Descendants of Zombies, then that's what we should do. That's what everybody should do on their YouTube channels, is talk about Descendants of Zombies, because I think that a lot of people just don't showcase the franchises with their true worth or have a greater appreciation for what the franchises really have meant to each and every one of our lives individually, because Descendants of Zombies has meant something different to each and every one of our hearts individually. For whatever reason we're a fan of Descendants of Zombies, all we know is that we want this to last for forever, and we don't want this feeling to just go out from out of nowhere. So I think that for the profound impact that Descendants of Zombies has left on our hearts, we should appreciate that, and we should showcase it for its true worth and its true value, and there's no better way to do that than by doing that with each and every one of you who share so passionately with how you feel about Descendants of Zombies with me through the power of this YouTube channel, because this YouTube channel started as a whisper and became a global phenomenon because of each and every one of you. Never because of me uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies and wearing a diamond patterned sweater every time I record a video on Descendants of Zombies. It happened because of each and every one of you, and I have never felt more honored to be in your guys' presence to discuss everything Descendants of Zombies, because I think for the foreseeable future, these franchises actually have a chance of lasting for forever, and I'm really excited to be a part of that future with each and every one of you. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to do that, because I have a lot to say where this conversation goes about Descendants of Zombies. This video, of course, is focusing on Freya, Skye, and Malachi Barton, because I know the numbers for these videos are really high, so as long as these video numbers remain high, I will upload as many Freya, Skye videos as I possibly can, because I think this is a conversation that needs to be appreciated, needs to be valued, and never ever forgotten about, because her future is brighter than a Taylor Swift, I think. She is the next Taylor Swift, and that conversation and that argument will forever be presented by me with the numbers Freya Skye is putting out there. Congratulations to each and every one of you for putting Freya Skye where she deserves to be, and I'm just here to support that and have a whole lot of fun while doing it. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to do that as we count you down just 3 weeks out from Halloween. Don't forget to hit my subscribe, my like, and my notification bell. Don't forget to ring that bell to stay up to date with notifications on everything happening on this YouTube channel. You, of course, have been watching the latest episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blog streaming on my YouTube channel once again for you this morning. I will be back with a new podcast in just a few hours from now. It's a beautiful morning, beautiful Thanksgiving Monday morning in Canada. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody who celebrated Thanksgiving just yesterday and throughout today. In Canada, we have a lot of people subscribed to Canada, so thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown this YouTube channel. I will be back later on this afternoon as we keep Descendants of Zombies in our hearts and keep the conversation going for just a little while longer, because this is something that is really going to last for forever.